Okay. Good there, good there. I hope the mic volume is good. I'm going to take off my mask so that the deaf community can read my lips because I can't sign fast enough. Fast enough, sorry. Hi, Facebook. Hi, YouTube. 4 seconds. I don't know if I can move this over here and get a better angle. Who's going to go to our gate today and be like, hey, you guys open? Who's going to do it? It's already happened once today, actually. So goofy. Are you good?
We are now live.
We are live on Instagram. Hi, guys. Hello. It's been a week. Hope you guys are doing good. You have pop culture news? Can you think of any pop culture news?
Have they kind of cut out? Is that okay?
Been cut out?
Oh, yeah, that's right. The big copyright issue going down right now with Marvel and Ditka and...
What is that issue? I don't know that issue. I've heard rumblings.
So it has to do with...
Copyright, Marvel, Ditka, and what?
It has to do with...
Steve Ditko, you mean?
Yeah.
Ditka.
Oh, what happened? Am I late? Yeah, we're closed for the day. We close at 6, man.
I didn't know.
Yeah, we'll be open tomorrow.
So I thought it was open.
No, yeah, we're only open from 12 to 6.
Are you guys open tomorrow?
12 to 6, yeah.
All right, cool. Thank you.
No problem.
I've never seen it happen immediately. Like I'm a magician, dude.
5 minutes into it. Yeah, it's
Am I magic?
basically looking at the rights of...
I predicted somebody would come to our gate and do that. That's exactly what happened.
When Marvel reverts, when their copyright runs out, it's going to revert back to the original owners who are the Stan Lee estates and all that.
Oh, yeah.
So they're trying to go ahead and have permanent rights, I think is what it is.
Which is what they should, you know, so the fans get control. Well, not the fans, but a corporation that the fans trust.
Yeah.
But, okay. So that's wild. I didn't know that. Okay. So copyright issues with Spider-Man, Steve Ditko, and Marvel. Cam, any other news? Did we get any trailers?
Oh, Sandman.
Yeah.
Oh, the Sandman trailer. And look, can I just say Daniel the Dreamer looks perfect?
Like they literally were.
Like he walked out of the comic. It's so good. So good.
The opening theme for Cowboy Bebop live action got released too.
Oh yeah, and fans are all angry because the gal in it is not like 10 feet tall or something.
Not wearing like the skimpy clothing that she does.
Oh God. Okay. Well, whatever. You can't win them all, I guess. Okay. So you guys have probably heard that we're going to be closing in a couple weeks, and a lot of people are coming in and just sort of breaking our heart, asking about it all the time, and we can't really give you details on it beyond saying that we are closing, and it's just sort of, I gotta move Instagram over here. It's just sort of gotta happen, but like it's not, has nothing to do with like our customers. You all are loyal customers and you're all good people, and we really appreciate the support over the years. It's just kind of like I guess if I were to word it, I'd say that the lights have come on, the music is halted, and all the dancing has stopped, and you know, the nights can end, but like the dance will always, like, we'll remember the steps and it'll still be there, and the beat will still live in our soul. And honestly, these have been the best 3 years of my life. So I don't want it to end. I don't want this dance to end, but you know, even the greatest dancers in the world, they all leave the dance floor. So it is what it is.
And if you had a box here,
No.
that you have not picked up in some time, you definitely had a hand in that, just so you know. But your stuff is going out.
The salt. If you have not picked up your stuff, and you have not made arrangements by now with us to hold your stuff until the 9th, we are going to have to put your stuff out. So contact us, come pick up your stuff, or you know, tell us, hey man, I'm coming on the 9th, and we will hold your stuff, but we need to move product. We need to do it for our own benefit so that we are not already drowning in more debt, I guess is what the way we can word it. So we love you all, but as far as that is concerned, Also, we want to refer people to Chris's Comics. Chris's Comics is over on Maple Street in Fremont. And Chris showed up in our store, I think 2 weeks after we opened. And he's just the best dude. He gave us a bunch of advice on like our shop and, you know, good moves to make. And he's really just the kind of guy that truly believes that a rising tide lifts all ships. And we've treated them as a sister store our whole way through. And so Chris is happy to grandfather in any deals that we've cut with our customers, and you know, he's happy to take everyone in, and we want you guys to go over there because we know he'll treat you right. Hold my kiss comic, Ace Bolt says. Oh, okay. I don't know who you are, but okay. What else? I have a box over here. This is a box from a collection that came from Arizona that my mom managed to find. And it was an amazing collection. In that box, there is all issues of Lock and Key 1 through, I can't remember. What was the first run? It was the 6 issues? I think it was 1 through 6. But it's all of the first run to include some rather rare variants. And there is a lot more in that box. There is like the first appearance of Doc, and there's a bunch of stuff. You can come in and browse through that box, and we will price it out at the register. Whatever we price those comics at, we're going to price them off eBay. We're going to drop them by like 20 or 25%. We haven't fully decided, but we're going to drop it a lot. So if you want to buy that stuff and immediately flip it onto eBay, you could do that and make a hell of a profit. But we're going to be bringing in more boxes of that because I have 5 long boxes full of some ridiculously rare 2000s comics, to include, which might already be gone, but the first appearance of Shuri. We might actually also have the first appearance of her as Black Panther. Yeah, so there's going to be a lot of good stuff in that, and that's going to be some comeuppance. So over the next, I think, 2 weeks, we're going to keep bringing in those boxes. So you will get to browse through them. They will be right there. Just ask me where the magic long boxes are, and I'll point you in that direction. And you will get some good finds there, I promise. What else? Anything else?
Pop culture news.
Well, we're doing our event on the 9th. It's our going away party. So that will be on the 9th. So come through. Are we doing the King Spawn thing?
Yeah.
Everyone who shows up that day will get a free copy of King Spawn while supplies last. They're going to last. Oh, with purchase, Yogi says. They're going to last because we have only 250 copies. But anyone that shows up that day will get a free copy of King Spawn, which is a pretty expensive issue. It actually collector issue, so it's a pretty good thing to get. We are also doing a 50% off sale on literally everything outside of the cases, the glass cases. We're not doing it on those, and we can't do it on consignment items, but everything else in the store is going to be 50% off. So if you've been waiting to boost up your trade collection, now is the time. Trust me. Get out here and come pick some of this up. It's some good stuff. What else? Anything else? Nothing else? Hicham Hopshi is going to be here on our last day. I'm hoping Lawrence will make it in on our last day. Lawrence Ararte. I would love to see them both here for the last day.
I was going to reach out to Dom, but he's still not filming right now. So.
Oh, Gecko?
Pace, yeah.
Yeah, Dominic Pace? Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. And who's coming up really hard, so he got official licensed stuff with Lucas now.
Nice. Good. Glad to hear it. Okay, so we'll get to the reviews. I'm going to start off with one that, look, I didn't like this run, and I'm not going to pull any punches. Why should I? I mean, it's almost the last show. Spencer, Bagley, Carlos Ferreira, Gomez, Neves, Fiorelli, Ramos, Sinclair, and Delgado. The Amazing Spider-Man, Legacy issue 875, issue 74. This is the end of Nick Spencer's run. Now, I have not hid that I did not like Nick Spencer's run, and for a lot of reasons, it revisited the whole Mephisto and Parker selling his soul stuff, which, while being a loose end in the Marvel universe, nobody cared. And I think collectively, everyone could have put that to bed and never, revisited it ever and been fine with that. We kept reintroducing the same character, which I keep calling Revenant, but his name is actually Kindred. And we came to find out in the last issue that no, there's 2 of them because Why not? So that happened. Then we found out that Harry Osborn, who was supposed to be kindred, is actually alive again, and there's a reason for it. And what do you think the reason is, Cam? Why does anyone ever come back tied to the Spider-Man mythos?
Revenge against Spider-Man.
Or clones?
That's it.
Always clones. I'm so sick of the clone excuse. It's worse than time travel at this point. Like I'm tired of it, dude. Okay. Whenever there's a problem with Spider-Man and somebody returns, we always just go flip a coin, and it's either clones or no, it's either clones or clones. That coin has two heads. Anyways, so that happens. Then okay, there's a lot of action, so that's good. But okay, let me just say it like this. Look, without spoiling it, I'm going to tell you that literally everything that happens in this comic has already happened to Spider-Man. All of it. Every single event that happens in this comic has already happened. The big reveal doesn't really shock anyone. I don't care about the big reveal. I can't spoil it, but it's not like who gives a crap. Then when we get to the end of the story, we get another story centering around Uncle Ben and Parker visiting his grave, and I hated that too. Like that was not there was nothing redeeming about that. It basically centered around Uncle Ben trying to save a dude who was an abusive drunk, and then people just making excuses for him being an abusive. I don't care. I don't care. You don't need. Uncle Ben is turning over in his figurative grave, okay? So did I like this comic? No, I didn't. But I'm saying that as a Spider-Man fan, but I didn't like Nick Spencer's run at all. I'm sure people out there like it. I mean, I love Tom King, and I loved his Batman run, and plenty of people hated that. So take what I say with a grain of salt. I did not like this ending. I don't think you will either, but if you do, good for you. We'll have it on our shelf. Next for a book I love. Stan Sakai, Usagi Yojimbo, The Dragon Bellow Conspiracy. Literally everything is happening. Yes, that's the Rhino Gen. Gen is on the cover. There is Ito, the Blind Swords Pig. He's also on the cover. We've also got the Young Lord and his retainer that Usagi is always bumping into and helping. And then on top of that, we've got a ninja clan, the Neko Ninja Clan, which is the cat ninjas. Stan Sakai has literally thrown everything into this story. Literally all of my favorite Usagi characters are coming together for a giant battle. And it's all done to defend the Shogun and make sure there is not an attempt on his life because some lord is planning an assault against the Shogun. This is an amazing story. And as a Usagi fan, somebody who's been a Usagi fan for, several decades, this is everything I wanted a Usagi story. And although the mainline Usagi is good, it's not this good. And if you're not reading this as a Usagi fan, you're really missing out. So come pick it up. Next is TMNT, Eastman, Campbell, Nishijima, and Patterson. This is TMNT 121. This still takes place. The Mutanimals is finally getting their upcomings, and we saw Hobb getting beaten by a bunch of protesters for, pretty much forcefully converting a portion of New York into mutants. So they're finally exacting revenge, and the mutant town's got to deal with the fact that, what do we do with people that we have to detain? What do we do with people who are prisoners? Like, are we actually going there? And it's interesting to see. Again, these are places that we've never seen TMNT go, and it's kind of wild to see. It's good. Nobody's reading this comic though, sadly, but we will have it on our shelf. Next is James Tinney in the fourth, Werther Deledra, and Miguel Muerto. And look, let me double check real fast and just make triple sure. Yeah, I think it is. I'm pretty sure. Okay, my pick of the week. Something is Killing the Children, issue number 20. Why is it my pick of the week? Well, there is a lot to unpack here. We've seen some of the rituals of the House of Slaughter. We've seen sort of how people get accepted into the House of Slaughter. We get more details on this. It pretty much centers around, they see a monster kill like someone they love, at a young age, and eventually they're locked in a room with that monster. And if they somehow aren't killed by the monster and make peace with the monster and master it and master themselves, then they will go on to be a member of it. And it really, it's a grander statement on dealing with trauma is what it really is. And it's thought-provoking. On top of that, we finally get explained what all the different masks do and why are the white masks such a-holes. We get all of that. We get exactly explained like what the red masks do, what the blue masks do, what the white masks do, what the silver masks do. I didn't know about them. There's even a green mask that is explained. Like, there's some weird stuff. It's really cool. I love this secret society. I love everything about it. And the main character, who has pretty much started off the whole series, this is her upcomings and how she came to be in the House of Slaughter. It's really cool. So, indie pick of the week, without a doubt, Something is Killing the Children. Outstanding. Almost my other indie pick of the week, another Tinny in the Book. Go figure. Tinny in the Book. Tinny in the fourth book. Tinny in the Book. That's his new name. This is Tinny in the Fourth, Simmons and Bidikar, and this is Department of Truth. Department of Truth. Oh, God, it's so good. We saw in the last issue that the guy who pretty much was reshaping reality and explaining Cole how he did everything, that he was a turncoat and actually working for Black Hat and against the Department of Truth. And we get some answers as to what that means. And, well, there's a greater mystery because there's 2 Lee Harvey Oswalds in this universe. 2.
Oh.
2. And there's a reason for it. And who is the good guy and who is the bad guy? Right? There is some twists. I love everything about Department of Truth. The last issue centered around black helicopters, and they literally got on black helicopter constructs and flew off, and it was weird, dude. This story is so good. Okay, so this one, you get a giant explanation as to what's going on. You get a bunch of backstabbery, a bunch of twists, and some wild turns. And Department of Truth is amazing. It's so good. We're gonna get some answers finally, and James Tynion IV. He's not going to give us all of the answers, but he's going to give us just enough to keep us hooked, and it's so good. The art is always outstanding. Does anyone ever complain about the art from Department of Truth?
No.
I don't think so. I have yet to find somebody who says that art is not good. Next is Johnson, Gracia, Smith, Guru Effects. We're talking about Extreme Carnage, Omega. This is part 5 of 5. So we finally get to see Flash Thompson's team go up against Cletus Cassidy's team. And it involves the murder of a senator, or who has actually got the symbiote. Hey, guys.
Yes.
We all thought it was the senator, did we not?
I did.
It seemed like it was the senator from the beginning, and no, they faked us out with the last issue. But I am happy to say that my personal favorite symbiote, at least of recent years, a certain yellow and black symbiote, is going to be making an appearance in this issue, and oh, it's so cool. What do you mean? Are you staring?
I know what you.
Oh, you looked all confused for a second. Man, what a good issue. This is how you wrap up an event. Johnson, honestly, man, good job. Like, this was a really, really fun event and exactly what I wanted out of the Symbiote series. And it does set the stage for, oh, man, we might have just made things a lot worse. I don't know how to... The way this ended was a bit shocking.
I don't know, from the synopsis of the new Venom run, it kind of it seems what you predicted at the end of King in Black seems like it's going to come.
Yeah, I know. But I knew it was a real problem. Next is Joe Kelly, Chris Bacalo, Corey Smith, and Gerardo Sandoval. This is Nonstop SpiderMan. Now, I've loved Nonstop SpiderMan, like ridiculously loved it. Which is why this issue is weird. The last issue, it had Baron Zemo, like, and Spider-Man, and them having the most funny conversation and this really ridiculous, like, long fight on the plane. And there was just a bunch of back and forth, and it ended with Spider-Man getting infected by Baron Zemo with the formula. And there was some strangeness afoot. But the way this issue ends is odd. It's odd. Nonstop Spider-Man was just an excuse for constant action, and it was really, really fun. And I didn't have any problems with that at all. It seemed like a great story, and I wanted a good ending, and the ending I got was weird. It was just a weird ending. Can you not agree? Did I show you the ending, Nate? I showed you the ending.
So what happened?
It's out of nowhere. Doesn't seem like it's a proper ending, but it's the last issue.
Whatever the new series opening next or coming out next year.
So there's a new series tied to this?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So
I guess it's kind of more of a sequel to that.
I don't know. If you've been reading Nonstop SpiderMan, I think you've had a good time with this run, but I'm not sure you're gonna like the end of it. It was kind of like, what? But okay, whatever. Next is Percy, Kubert, Grundjern, and Martin. This is Wolverine. Now, if you can't tell, that's Wolverine, and that's the Araco mutant that Wolverine already fought and killed that had adamantium skin. And that person is tied to whoever's been stealing the Muramasa blade. So, yeah, the way this played out was really, really fun. Honestly, grand fun. I love seeing Wolverine sort of play the politics of each of these situations, including a really uncomfortable drink at the Green Lagoon bar. It was just a really, really fun read, and this is exactly what I wanted out of a Wolverine comic. The art was outstanding, and I really think if you're a Wolverine fan, you're probably having a good time with this run, but this book especially was a hell of a ride. So good job on that one. Next is Firefly River Run, and this is David Embur, Andrea Genolette, Maria Iacona, and it says created by Joss Whedon in tiny letters with orange on white, so it really is hard to see the created by Joss Whedon. They're really phasing him out of existence. This is a Firefly story that centers around River and her brother, and it's really the backstory that we never fully got, but we got parts of it, but not the whole thing. And this is what led up to the lab and the escape from the lab and pretty much the beginning of Firefly, and it's a really, really fun run. I think we got some of these answers in Serenity, did we not? I think we got a little bit of them, but this is the full explanation. And it's really, really good. It humanizes these characters well. I had a good time with it, even though I knew exactly how it was going to end. It's a story that I want to see in the Firefly universe. So if you are a Brown Coat fan, you would love this. Plus the back has like River Tam's like ID card from the lab and stuff like that. It's pretty wild. So it's a really, really good read. I don't think it's a continued. I think it's just a one-shot. Next is Sewell, Rosanas, and Rosenberg, and we're talking about Star Wars: War of the Bounty Hunters. Now this, well, it centers around Vader and Luke in an X-wing TIE fighter fight, and really that's happening so that Luke can lure Vader away from the I think it's the auction that was going on, the auction for Han Solo, and so we get to see that, but one of their vehicles got disabled. I'm not going to say who because I don't want to spoil it more than that, but it led to a discussion we had in the store where we were wondering if a Jedi or a Sith got their vehicle, like their spaceship disabled in space, are they helpless? Can they not like use the Force to like add a little bit of inertia and push their ship forward and then just let it go? Like, it would seem to me like they could save themselves. We saw that, right? So it led to a really good discussion because Starkiller, who's from the Jedi or the Force Unleashed series, literally pulls a Star Destroyer out of the sky. So if he can do that, then couldn't he just sit in an X-wing and sort of push it along and then get it moving even after it's disabled? So I want to see that story. But anyways, does it have anything to do with this story? No. Is it a good story? Yes. It actually played out really well. I had a good time with it. But if you are someone that just wants a big, lightsaber fight, you don't actually get that in this. This is more a pilot fight, but a dog fight, but it's pretty good. And if you're a Star Wars fan, you're having a good time with that run, I think, anyways. Next is Kate's Bandini, D'Amico, and Wilson, and no. It's not my Marvel pick of the week, but it's almost there. We're talking about Thor. Now, Thor got cornered by his mom and his sister, and they pretty much ambushed him and Odin and lured them into a sort of a dinner date to discuss their issues, because Thor and Odin got issues, miles and miles of issues. Like, Lord, do they have some? You know what's funny in this too is Odin says, I don't normally say it, but you're my favorite son. And he's like, that's not setting the bar very high, man. I loved it. I had a really good time with this issue for a lot of reasons. It shows a lot of character growth both in Thor and his dad and his mom. Like, there's just a lot of character growth. And we do get to see some fallout from Thor being as overzealous as he is at times. And we're going to be leading to a bigger story that I can't even talk about it without spoiling it, but it's kind of a nightmare scenario for what could happen if this happened. So yeah, I can't spoil it. No. Angela was in it. But yeah, I can't spoil what happens at the end because that would just ruin it entirely. But there is a greater Thor like story of blue in here. And so you need to read it. You just absolutely need to read it. It's not my Marvel pick of the week, but it's a really good comic. Next is Milligan, Cantarino, Kelly and World, and that's Vault Human Remains. I didn't know what to expect from this book, and I'm just going to tell you flat out, this book's kind of weird. The art is pretty good. I actually kind of like the art. The story is, it's strange. Like, a guy goes out to the street angry at, I think, a news story and starts yelling, and then some giant, I don't know what it is, some giant portal with a bunch of, like, sharp limbs sort of rips him apart. And that keeps happening. This giant portal with sharp limbs just keeps showing up and ripping people apart. There's no explanation for it. Yeah, so that's my synopsis, which says, beware of interdimensional holes with sharp limbs. That sounds weird. I'm sorry. But this book is weird. I gotta say, it's not a buy. In my opinion, it's more pick up, thumb through, and see if you like it. Because there's no hook here. There's no hook here. It was just sort of shocking and weird. That's what I'm gonna say. Not my favorite book of the week. This next one kind of cracked me up because I can sum it up in one sentence. That's Gogol, Cantata, and Reinhardt. We're talking about Unborn. This is the Power Rangers meets Iron Man meets Aliens. Exactly what it is. And I'm not even kidding. Even the look of them looks like Power Ranger Iron Man. That's what they look like. But did I hate it? No, I didn't hate it. And it is very much Aliens. That's what it is. It wasn't like, I liked the comic. I had a good time with it. Even though I felt like I was reading something I'd already read before, and you'll probably get that too. But is it fun? Yeah, it's fun. This is sort of victim to, there's not really a hook here because, like, me describing it is exactly what you get in this book. There's nothing that really hooked me, but at the same time, I had a good time with it. So I'm going to say it's a pick up, thumb through, and see if you want to buy and then decide from there. But didn't hate it by any means. It was pretty interesting. I'm waiting for the next issue before I actually decide what I feel like it. But look at the art, Kevin.
Yeah, okay.
It's Power Rangers meets Iron Man.
I wasn't sure, but now you're showing me.
Let me show Facebook. Power Ranger meets Iron Man. It really is. It's weird. It's weird. Next is Keanu Reeves, Matt Kent, Ron Garney, and Bill Crabtree. It's Berserker. Keanu Reeves, Berserker. Now, I commented that the first couple issues were just a wild ride. The third and fourth issues felt like, well, they just kept sort of revisiting the trauma of him, like originally having his powers early on and coming to those decisions and seeing, how long it took him to resurrect and stuff like that. It was okay, but it sort of felt like it was lowing a bit. This one was amazing, like absolutely amazing. It goes into his relationship with the lab tech / assistant and it sort of explains like why he's close to this person, but also why he doesn't trust like anyone around him generally. And it has something to do with if you live forever, like how do you get close to people knowing that they eventually do not? And so they cover all of that, and it's kind of thought-provoking and really, really interesting. I had a good time with it. This character has grown quite a bit. The art is still amazing. The story is still amazing. If you're reading Berserker, you are having the best of times, I think. And this issue is friggin' outstanding. You will love it. Next is, look, this is going to be my pick of the week, but the two books that follow are close second. Why is it my pick of the week for Marvel? It was just that good. It's Ewing, Villanova, and Proto Bunker, and it's Sword. Now, why is this my pick of the week, Cam? Well, because Storm gets to be a badass. That's exactly it. If you are going to have a planet of warring mutants that have only known a life of war in the planet Araco, and you need an Earth representative from the mutants, you need a badass. You need a Beyond Omega, like, shit-kicking badass. And that's what we get in Storm. And we get to see her doing just that. She has carved out her place on the Araco, like political table, and literally carved out her place on it, and has fought to defend it, and I think does fight to defend it 2 times in this issue, at least. It's violent, it's beautiful, it's very Storm. In that, at one point, it seems like she's beaten, and no, really, that's just her showing her belly before she stabs you in the face. So I loved it. I loved it so much. It was so good. If you're texting our Green Mission account right now, please don't. It rings up on the phone. We will get it handled in a minute. Anyways, so it's amazing. This is without a doubt my pick of the week right now. The art is outstanding. This is exactly the kind of Storm story that we all really want as fans. And we get to see more fleshing out of that Araco planet, which I need more details on that thing like all the time. It's outstanding. Pick of the week. Al Ewing does it again. Who has written this Inferno story? Is this Hickman? Hickman and who? Who's the artist? Tell me it's Saez. I can't see who the art is because I've got. Oh, here it is. Here it is. No, I can't see who the artist is because I've got a variant and I don't know what page to turn to see that. Well, okay. So Hickman, I have the art germ variant of Inferno. The story is by Hickman. I can tell you who the cover artist is, but I don't know who the actual. Oh, here we go. Hickman. Oh, Sheedy and Curiel. Outstanding. So this Inferno issue, it's issue number 1. It was almost my pick of the week. Why? Well, it's going with Hickman's mythos, which we saw when Krakoa was formed, that they had a problem with precogs and they didn't want any precogs around. But more specifically, it seemed like they weren't resurrecting a certain mutant that Mystique wanted to be resurrected because, well, she was in love with her. It was her wife, right? Her wife. So she wanted her resurrected. They weren't resurrecting her, and that was going to lead to something. And, well, we get to see part of that play out. And the way it plays out is it feels Shakespearean. Like, it was ethereal seeing how it played out. I was shocked by the end. And the beginning was really shocking, too. Something very traumatic happens, and Hickman flat out shows you the ending first, and you're like, wait, what is happening here? Oh, man, it's so cool to see. Now, yeah, just a wild ride. So, not my pick of the week. The art is amazing. The story is amazing. It's just there was just one book slightly better, but you should absolutely buy this. If you are an X-Men fan, you should buy this. If you are remotely a Marvel fan, you should buy this. If you are a DC fan and want to dip your toes in some amazing Marvel, this is the book to do it. It was really cool. Next is another book that was almost my pick of the week, and I'm happy to say that we got the last issue of this before our shop had to close. And that, I feel like, did I just get like a feather in my mouth or something? Where's my drink? Weird. I don't know what that was. Like, I got dust or something in my mouth. Survive. Yeah. Next is McKay, Via, and Reber. We're talking about Black Cat, Infinity Score, Part 3. Now, we saw Black Cat actually steal from Nick Fury, which was really funny. That entire issue was amazing. But what she stole was one of the people hosting the Infinity Stones, and that was Star. And Star has all types of bad news. Hang on one second. I don't know what that was, dude. Like, I literally inhaled a feather or something. It's okay. So, we saw her steal from Nick Fury, which, if you're going to steal from anyone in the Marvel Universe, that is the worst possible choice. If he knows that you've stolen from him, you're going to have problems. And the way it plays out, I love it. I'm a huge Nick Fury fan. That goes back to me being a kid with old man Nick Fury, but I love that character. And you know, the Samuel L. Jackson son Nick Fury is also one of my favorite characters. So I love seeing how this played out. But there is a bigger play at stake. There is somebody gathering the Infinity Stones people to sort of change the world. Because he's mad about the world and what it became. And we saw it hinted in the Nick Fury featurettes at the end. You know who it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's salty, and I like seeing that character salty because I don't like that character at all. You will love this issue. You will absolutely love this issue. Black Cat, honestly, McKay, you're so amazing. This is issue 10. Sadly, it's the last Black Cat issue, but it's so good, so do not skip it. Do not skip it. If for no other reason to see Nick Fury belt out like that, it's outstanding. Next is Johnson, Samper, and Lucas, and we're talking about Superman Action Comics. Now, we all know what this is building to. This is building to Superman on Warworld and going up against Mongol and how that's going to play out. Meanwhile, Superman has been losing his powers. But what I'm going to tell you guys is going to kind of blow your mind. That weird Grant Morrison Superman and the Authority is tied into this. Did you see that coming, Cam? You saw that coming?
It kind of makes sense if you think about it.
I guess.
Especially with the whole mainline Superman ending and giving birth to the John Kent Superman run.
So is that team from the future?
I won't know how far into the future, but it has to be at least somewhere between 5 and 10.
Because like that Superman has like gray hair and he looks like Kingdom Come Superman, and then it links up with this Superman.
Action Comics is like bringing everything together with Superman like over the last year though.
Weird. I thought the Superman and the Authority story, while it got good, it's a weird story. It's a weird story, and finding out that it's tied to like the main continuity Action Comics is even weirder to me. But okay, we know that Superman had to wind up on a war world, and we know it's probably not a trip that he's coming back from very soon because of how Future State played out. But we'll have to wait and see if that's really what happens. I mean, who knows, right? I mean, it's comics. Like, anything can change on a dime. We'll have to wait and see, but this is the goodbye issue. Next is a comic that I loved so friggin' much, but I can't really talk about it without spoiling a little bit of it because it's a new story arc. That's Yang, Pelletier, Champagne, and Hi-Fi, and that's Batman Superman. This comic centers around one of Batman's more campier characters in the form of Calendar Man. Now, Calendar Man, if you don't know, he pretty much kicked off the Rebirth run of like supervillains, and there was a reason for that. This isn't really tied to that, but a certain imp in the form of Mr. Mixoplex, who has grand cosmic power from, is it the fifth dimension? Fifth dimension. I like him because his name is Mixoplex. So sorry, I like that name because I'm Mix. But okay, so it centers around him giving Calendar Man sort of like Deadpool's power set in the ability to break the fourth wall and to actually sort of understand your place in the universe, which is on the page of comics. And it's really cool to see. Like, this Batman Superman run is doing such weird stuff, and I had a really good time with this issue. Like, an amazing time. Yeah.
I'm actually surprised you would see that after what happened with the Joker.
Yeah, apparently he's got a soft spot for Calendar Man because of the way Calendar Man dresses. That's weird.
I want to see what he does with Kite Man.
Right? Yeah, I'd like to see that too. I love this issue, and I would say don't skip it. Not my pick of the week, but God, it was really funny, and I mean really, 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 really funny. Do not skip it at all. Next is Batman versus Bigby, A Wolf in Gotham. This is Bill William Henn, Brian Level, Jay Leistein, and Lee Luridge. And this is, well, it's a weird book. It's essentially a Batman sort of werewolf story. It's done in an old style of comics. It was really fun to read, but you have to like that sort of older style in comics. That's what they're referencing. It's not really old style. It's like new style combined with old style to sort of look like a modern take on it. But the story was fun, and it centers around Batman sort of investigating some murders that seem to center around, well, a wolf-like creature while being tailed by a guy that seems a little nefarious. You kind of get where they're going, but it's a Batman story, so it might stray from there. You never know. But as far as Black Label books are concerned, it was pretty good. Not my favorite, not the best showing for the week, but it was all right. What is my DC pick of the week? Let me thumb through real quick and make sure that
That's the werewolf from Fables.
the werewolf from what? Fables?
Yeah.
Is it?
I think because DC also has the Fables line, right?
Oh, is it tied to the Fable thing? Oh, I had no idea. I've never read Fable, so I honestly no. Okay. Sorry guys, I'm stuck right now trying to decide. Okay. So this is not my pick of the week, but it's a close second. This is Williamson, Porter, and Hi-Fi. Deathstroke Inc. I didn't know what to expect from this. This is Deathstroke and Black Canary teaming up and running their own sort of Batman-esque team. It's not even Batman-esque. Like they're literally running somebody that can make Batman vehicles and tech, and Deathstroke's using it because Batman, to quote him, Batman no longer can afford guys like you, which is such a nasty dig coming from Deathstroke. But Deathstroke is talking about being a good guy. But I kept remembering the Judas Precept. Was it Judas Precept or Judas? Yeah, Precept. That's what it was. The one with Terra and like that still counts as continuity, which is the Judas contract is contract. I got it confused with Warframe. Sorry. The Judas contract. It's that still counts as continuity, and it's like Deathstroke in my eyes is not a character you can redeem ever. I don't mind him getting the crap beat out of him because I'm like, good, that's what you deserve. But no, I don't think you can redeem Deathstroke. I'm sorry. But anyways, was it a good read? Actually, yeah, it was a really fun read, and Black Canary and him have this weird, awkward sort of relationship that is kind of fun at times. And it's weird seeing Deathstroke with all the, like this level of tech. He's usually got some tech, but this level is absurd for him. It was a good time. The art was great. The story was fun. But again, if you are someone like me where Deathstroke sort of leaves a bad taste in your mouth, you probably are not going to love that book. But Tamaki, Mora, and Bel Air, and we're talking about Batman Detective Comics. Okay. Let's break this down as to what's going on. Well, there's an attempt on the mayor's life, which is a big deal, and Batman's sort of got to get to the bottom of it, and it centers around people who are a person who's calling themselves a king, a king in Gotham. Not something you do. And Batman's got some choice words about it that was pretty entertaining, I gotta say. On top of that, the art was really good. The story was actually ridiculously fun. We do get some more of that Task Force Z stuff with Red Hood at the end of it and how that plays out. Honestly, as far as Detective Comics are concerned, like they've been having, it's been a little rough as of recently. This was an outstanding issue. Like I had a really good time with it. It didn't low at all. The art was amazing. The story was fun. You should not skip that if you're a Batman fan. That issue was good. Next is Phillips. Rossimo Placencia, and it's the amazing Fear State Harley Quinn run, issue number 7. Now, Harley, the art is just absurdly cool and fun, and Harley has grown as a character. She is going up against Hugo Strange, who, is just an overgrown Batman cosplayer, which actually kind of makes sense for the Hugo Strange character in a lot of ways. And so she's been dealing with that and dealing with sort of trying to help former Joker villains and help them cope and readjust to life. And it's been really an endearing storyline, and nothing changes here. There's plenty of action. There's a really, really cool scene with Harley hanging off a cliff, holding a puppy. It was quite endearing, actually. Everything about this comic, and Harley is a really complex character, and I think the writer has just nailed it, knocked it out of the park. This issue, again, is more of that good stuff. You'll love it. Next is Milestone Returns, Icon, and Rocket. The art in this is outstanding. The story in this is outstanding, but they're pretty much tackling like not just the usual suspects of sort of being racist and everything else, but they're also tackling, well, hypercapitalism and drugs in this issue. And as far as Icon and Rocket are concerned, it totally makes sense to me. That's exactly the kind of stuff that I remember them tackling in the old Milestone run. And this is outstanding. The art is really, really good. The story is fun. We get a character with a sword. Do you remember a character with a sword in Icon and Rocket, Cam? Or Nate? I don't remember this character at all. I want to know if there's someone new or if it's just my memory. But you get sort of an inkling of what I think is a new character at the end of this issue, and that's worth the price of admission. But I felt like I read a trade. Like I read this whole issue, and there was so much content that it was way worth my money. So do not skip it. Reginald Hudlin, Leon Chills, Doug Braithwaite, Andrew Curry, and Brad Anderson. God, outstanding work on Icon and Rocket Season 1. I'm having the best time. You absolutely will too. Next is Bendis, Godlewski, and Eeltab. Now, was Godlewski the original artist on Justice League? This run? Okay, well, there's a lot to unpack, and we had complaints about Justice League the last issue. The art was not up to snuff. We didn't like the art on the last issue. It was really not my jam, and it wasn't your jam either, was it, Ken? No, we didn't like it at all. Well, maybe somebody got a vacation or took an issue off, but the art feels much, much better in this issue. This is the wrap-up of the Justice League headquarters being destroyed and the fallout of that, and there's a lot of discussion about changes and stuff like that in it. One thing I want to say is that we had discussed how much Black Adam looks sort of like Clark Kent. He looked very whitewashed at the beginning of this Justice League run, and I wasn't happy with it. This issue, I'm happy to say, has brought back his Roman nose. Like, we've got that nose back, that arch, in case you didn't know, that big arch on your nose is called a Roman nose. But it's just how Black Adam looks. It's his Middle Eastern look, and they brought that back, which it's been missing. And I don't know why they took that out in the previous issue. So that's back. But he still doesn't feel like Black Adam. Does he look like Black Adam to you, Cam, at all?
Attitude-wise, he's softened up a lot.
He's softened up as Black Adam a lot, but which I'm fine. That's character growth that we saw at the end of Shazam. That's character growth. But his look just didn't look like him. They've sort of fixed that in that issue, and I'm happy with that issue. It's not the best, but it's pretty good. Next is Easton, Osio, and Renzi, and we're talking about Mr. Miracle, the Source of Freedom, guest starring Orion. Now, we saw Mr. Miracle and what's his name? Oh God, what's this? Oberon. I couldn't remember his name for a second there. We saw Mr. Miracle and Oberon team up, and this is a new Mr. Miracle that I'm not too familiar with. But Mr. Miracle and Oberon go way back, and the character himself is supposed to look and sound like Jack Kirby, so it's really endearing whenever we see the character in comics. And we do get to see Mr. Miracle deal with New Gods and Apocalypse, which is entirely his jam, and that's what all Mr. Miracles tend to do. On top of that, he's been dealing with, well, the offspring of Big Barda and Scott Free in a character named Never Free. I still don't like that name. But the art is great, like really good. The story is fun. These characters just crawl off the page and scream for my attention, and I'm having nothing but a good time with this run. And, you know, honestly, I don't think you should jump in on issue 5, but I also don't think you'll have a bad time if you do. I'd just rather you get a bit more of the story, so go back a couple issues, but it's really good. You would not be disappointed. Next is my DC pick of the week, which probably shouldn't surprise too many of you. Williamson, Milanov, and Guerrero, and we're talking about Robin, who is on the Mortal Kombat Island / Enter the Dragon Island, where all combatants must die at least once because they're the League of Lazarus. That's the third league, right? No, the fourth league, because we have the Justice League, the League of Shadows, the League of Assassins, and the League of Lazarus. It's weird. Anyways, so, yeah, okay. He's fighting it out on this island, and he's sort of teaming up with other people and finding alliances, and also kind of softening up a bit because it turns out Robin's into manga. So we get to see that arc. Meanwhile, he's trying to figure out what they're doing with the League of Lazarus. Like, what does that island have to do? They're up to something, obviously. And he's been dealing with that. And if you read the last issue had a literal Robin race across rooftops and centered around, like, all of what is going on up there.
I think they're flirting.
I don't know what's going on. Anyways, so you got to see that. The last issue was really endearing. This is a lot of action, but you trust me, you will have a good time with this. This entire Robin run's been really fun, and issue number 6 is amazing. So absolutely go out and buy this. DC pick of the week is Robin issue number 6 for sure. Next is Taylor, Timms, and L-Tib, and we're talking about Superman, Son of Kal-El. Now, this was almost my pick of the week, too, for a lot of reasons. Jonathan Kent, honestly, I'm really, really loving Jonathan Kent and what he's doing. We are also dealing with, well, people that are being randomly powered up into metahumans suddenly, and none of them seem to have control of their abilities, so there's a lot of fallout happening from that. So that's going on, and Jonathan Kent is sort of learning how to fill his father's boots and be a Superman, but a Superman that comes up to his dad's standards but also walks his own path, and all of that is just great reading. I'm having a really good time with this. So Taylor, you really knocked it out of the park with this, and while it's not my DC pick of the week, it is a close second, and I don't think anyone should skip it. That is our show for this week, and that's our second to last show, and I'm so sorry for that. Our next show is going to be our last show.
Did you review Miles?
What?
Did you review Miles?
I didn't review Miles. There was no copies left, I thought.
Huh?
It didn't hit my box.
Oh, okay.
I didn't review Miles this week.
Yeah,
I'm
no.
very, very sorry about that. Oh, sorry about that. I'm sorry, guys, because it's the anniversary issue, too, isn't it?
Yeah,
I didn't get to review it. Dang it. Actually, no, hand me a Miles. I'll speed read that sucker on camera and give you a synopsis of it and show all of you how insane this is that I can do this. Sorry. Miles Morales anniversary issue. Okay. So let me break this down for you. In this issue, Miles Morales actually goes up against the giant robot that is taken and programmed to fight an evil corporation in the form of a food truck called Taco Gong. And on top of that, he does a lot of street level stuff like helping a pair of girls find their missing dog, and actually does wind up encountering his current flame in the form of Starling, who is Vulture's granddaughter, right? Or daughter? I forget how she's related to Vulture. Is it granddaughter? Anyways, so yeah, you get that. On top of that, you do get, well, it's not just one story, it's actually 2 stories. The second story is pretty good and does center around a certain frog-suited character. And the third story, I gotta tell you, I really do love the art of the third story. It's pretty outstanding. But the story itself it's okay. It's a little touching, it seems like. So that's how well I can speed read a comic on top of that. And was that a good synopsis of Miles Morales? Great. So, yeah. Issue number 30, Miles Morales, Spider-Man. This is the variant, but we will have a couple issues on our shelf. Not too many. We're actually kind of running low on them. And that's our show for this week. I think I covered all the books. So thank you, Green Machine friends and fans of fun. Deeply from our hearts, thank you for being a part of all this. And, you know, we've got one more show, so one more final send-off, which will be next Saturday. So tune into our next show next week, our last show next week, and then come to our final send-off. And we love y'all. We'll see you later.